Hi, I'm your host, Erica Polsinelli, and welcome to Evolve by Erica, the podcast, where we talk all things spirituality, ascension, health, wellness, and beyond. I'm so excited that you are here. Come on in. Hello, guys, and welcome back to another solo episode. I'm so happy to be here. It always feels so nice to touch base, to get cozy one-on-one with you guys. I'm back in the studio. If you're watching this on YouTube, you may have noticed there are some upgrades in our beautiful physical setting, and it just feels so good to be back here. I want to catch you up with what's been going on currently and share some behind the scenes slash just the real life of the balance and the tug of war between procrastination and creation. Being a creator, someone who has their own brand, a mindful brand, a very conscious brand, and working for myself, I think it's an important topic, but I also think this relates to anyone, no matter where we're at in life, no matter what we do for work or what we do just on our daily. I think it's something that a lot of us might experience, and I thought it would be a great topic to bring to light. So first, I'm going to catch you up on some things that have just been going on with Evolve, with me, and then we're going to get into a chat on procrastination and creation and the tug of war between the two. It is the end of August. It's actually August 27th today that I'm recording this on, and I had my last beach meditation yesterday, which it's been so nice getting together in person and on the beach and doing these meditations. For anyone that has been local, that has been able to come, it's been incredible. What I've noticed the most is how open more and more people are to the meditation practice, and just hearing that there's an offering on the beach that they can attend. I feel like from when I started this journey to now, the openness to meditation and more of these, what we once called woo-woo practices, more and more people are needing and feeling. And I really saw that this summer, and it's been such a beautiful journey to watch that and be able to connect with people in person, as well as continue our virtual lives each and every week on the app. It's really, really, really important to me to hear just from the community and get feedback. And I live for it, and it always fuels what you guys see on the app. So it's been so nice just having the in-person events, the online lives, connecting in community any way we can. And we're so lucky in this digital age that we have access to do this everywhere, anytime. But I want to take you back to spring equinox. During the spring equinox, I got this massive download, and it was a bunch of things that I wanted to bring into creation in this coming season over spring and summer. And the spring energy is like this fire energy that helps us to catapult, get things off the ground, and move them in the direction we want to go. And then the summer energy is a lot about holding that up, putting it all into motion, all of that extroverted energy, all of the things playing out. And then I'm actually going to do a whole podcast on the fall energy and winter energy and how that transitions. But I've really been in that frequency and energy of like the fire, and then that air just moving us through, pulling me through with all of these ideas that I had and landing them. And in the spring, I had this vision that I would finally bring into fruition the Evolve merch line. I also got this download to offer these free in-person meditation events, because I truly believe that meditation not only changes us on an individual level, but it changes us on a collective level. And sometimes people just need a reason to be open to it, to try it, and making them free. I knew people would be very open and grateful for the opportunity. Being that it was on the beach, everyone loves an excuse to come to the beach at night and just relax and receive. And these were two really big ideas that I had for the spring, along with one other idea that is slowly going to get rolled out as well. Oh my God, there's actually a ton of things. So the first was the merch. I really wanted the merch to happen. And from there, it kind of led me to realize and look and be like, Evolve, when I first did my complete rebrand in 2021, so much has changed. I have changed so much since that branding that we did. And I was like, wow, we really need something updated to be reflective of who I am here and now, this version of me. But not only me, because Evolve isn't just me, it's truly a community. And I wanted it to be reflective of what it is right here, right now, today, with all of the members that we have, all the community members, all of the events we've had together, all the lives we've had together, all the meditations we've done together. There's been so much evolution and growth since the beginning on an individual level and a collective level. So I wanted the merch to be reflective of that. But then I also realized that my branding of Evolve needs to have a little bit of a shift as well to really match who I am today and who Evolve is today. I look at it as an energy of its own, created truly by all of us that are part of it. So that led to a little rebrand refresh. It's not a whole rebrand, but we're perfecting some colors and some designs. We're going to get updated photography for the website. And typically, like, this is something that a lot of brands or people would just keep to themselves until the big launch. But I felt so guided today. Today was the day that I shared the merch that would be happening this month. I felt so guided to also share that I do want to do a rebrand. And I honestly want you guys on the journey with me because, like I said, Evolve isn't just me, it's all of us. So, what you see on the merch, the colors, the blue, the cloud blue, just reminds me of the sky, which I'm always looking up at. Being an air sign, I'm so connected to the sky, but it also reminds me of the water, the abundance, and the prosperity of the water, just how it's endless, infinite, and it feels just limitless. And then the light color, the natural color, reminds me of just like that kundalini white, but also the powdery sand that always brings me to feeling my highest self, my most grounded and connected self. And all of this led me to choosing these new brand colors and creating the merch from that. And from there, the merch was a process because I refused to settle. I needed something to be so reflective of my values as a conscious and more elevated consumer because of what my meditation practice has really brought me, the awareness it's brought to me. So I tried probably 5 or 6 sweatshirts before I found the crew neck that we finally decided yes on. It's 100% cotton. It is the highest quality one by far. It is so cozy. It's organic. And those were all things really, really important to me. So throughout this process, I'm working with a really close friend, which I'm so excited. She actually just got engaged to one of our best friends. She does branding, and it's been so great working with her. She's a fellow projector. She just sees things, she gets it, and she works so efficiently and really can just like see what I have in my mind and bring it to life. So I worked with her on the brand, on the merch, working with her on a whole new rebrand. I'm calling it a refresh, not a rebrand, a refresh, because it's not going to be that much different. It's just going to be a little bit of an elevated, more evolved version of Evolve's 2021 self. And it's just been so nice. And I think it's really important to have the supports in place so that the procrastination doesn't kick in. You have the supports, you have the people, you have the ideas, and you move forward towards that goal. So that's 2 things, the merch and the brand refresh that we've been working on. The beach meditations was an idea that came through during the spring equinox as well. And then there's one more thing that's coming for Evolve that I'm getting clear on when it's officially going to be released and shared. But I know it's going to be well received because I was really guided to share some different content on there. And I just feel that it's the perfect supplement and complement to the work we already do. And I'm thrilled. And soon as I get clear, I'm not trying to like hide this as a secret to be like, I have to wait till like a big launch day and make a big deal out of it. It's really just me getting super clear on when it feels good to share and when it feels good to release, because that's how I work super, super, super intuitively, as you know. With this, there's been a lot of times where I had these ideas. I'm a big ideas person. I don't know about you, but I think a lot of the air signs are very connected to the ethers. We drop in with a lot of ideas, and then it's like, okay, but now we have to take them and we need to carry them out. We need to bring them to life and actually give birth to them. And a lot of us can get stuck sometimes on getting the ideas, but not actually moving them through. And for whatever reason, it could be procrastination and actually procrastinating, um, having the idea and allowing that to be the dopamine hit, just receiving of that idea or divine download, and then feeling so good and satisfied from receiving it that we kind of lose momentum on carrying it through and carrying it out. And recently, I've been hearing of a few different theories on this and why people either procrastinate or don't bring their ideas to life. And one thing I saw, it was actually on Organic Olivia's Instagram, where if you get an idea and you share it, you're receiving the dopamine hit of when you share it as if you actually brought it into life. And you are then more prone to not bring it into life because you got the satisfaction of, I got the idea, I'm sharing that I'm going to do it. And ooh, that felt so good just sharing that I'm going to do it, that I don't actually have to do it to feel what I feel, to feel that creation and birthing of the process. And that was really interesting to me. And she was sharing how she's going to hold back from sharing anything that she's working on. She was sharing that she's really just going to focus on getting the ideas, putting them into action, and then sharing it when they're actually ready to be birthed. And I thought that was really interesting. And it doesn't mean that's what I'm going to follow and abide by all the time, but I thought it was a really interesting perspective. In addition to this, I listen to Kabbalah a lot with David. I don't know his last name, but I can tag it in the show notes. But I'm going through the whole Kabbalah 1 training. I also have the Kabbalah 2 training and the business training that I'm going to do as well. But something that I learned in Kabbalah 1 is when you get an idea, you are supposed to take action on it immediately. So if you get an idea of, I'm going to write a book, I want to write a book, in that moment, just take a second to brain dump anything on paper just to get the wheels in motion towards what you want to do, towards your objective. So for me, it was like, okay, I want to create merch. The first thing I did to act on this was I created a Pinterest board. And I was like, I need some inspo. I need color inspo. I need styling inspo. I want different natural, organic sweatshirt inspo, whatever it was. And it's like just taking action right here, right now. Because like I said, there is this tug of war between procrastination and creation. And actually announcing and giving birth, having this merch, soon as I got it, I was like, I need to share it immediately because it feels so good that this finally came to fruition and finally is at its creation stage. It's here in the 3D, off of the paper, off of the digital realm. Here we could feel it, touch it, wear it, share it. So I think it's really interesting to follow that step and maybe use that as a guide of when you have an idea, immediately right then and there, how can you get something on paper or how can you act on it in that moment? And then from there, before just ending that, having a next step. When are you going to revisit this? Maybe you can create a very loose timeline and then be able to act on it. Because the thing is, it's really, really easy to procrastinate. It's really easy to have a bunch of ideas, thoughts, visions that you want to bring into fruition and feel successful just by thinking of it. But there's also a huge reward of actually bringing something into fruition, into the world, and giving birth to something physical as well. And sometimes we get really lost in that loop and in that journey, and it doesn't come into completion. And the beautiful thing, a lot of the times I feel about Mercury retrograde, is that it actually helps us to revisit unfinished business we've had, things that we've really wanted to bring into fruition that we hadn't. And it's a time to revisit them and decide, is this something that's meant to come into fruition or is it not? And actually, I launched this on, it's going to be the last day or the day after Mercury retrograde ends. So this time actually really helped me to come out of this cycle of creating incomplete merch, incomplete projects, and finally be like, wow, it feels good to finish it. It feels good to have that culmination. And now that's more momentum to actually put towards the refresh, the brand refresh that I'm doing and some other projects I'm working on. So I know that it could be really hard sometimes to complete things, to not give in to procrastination. But when we think of it, life is all about these individual moments. And sometimes it's really important to take time to really decide, what is it that we don't want to miss us? What is it that we really want to accomplish in our lifetime, in our year, in our month? And I think as someone who's very intuitive, I definitely fall into the process of being really flowy and fluid, not giving myself hard end dates or deadlines. But I've also noticed that some balance is necessary. And there are some times where you have to put on paper, like, this is the goal I have, and I want this done by this date or around this date. And that never means forcing something that's not flowing. It just means having some type of structure to support you in meeting yourself at the steps and eventually at the end goal. And I think that's another really important piece so that we can combat and overcome procrastination. It's not just about saying we're going to get to it when we get to it, but really tuning in, creating a mindful structure, outline, or loose deadline or end date, and then working with our energy, seeing how we feel. And then in the moments where there's a lot of momentum, when we have the energy behind us and when we feel it's go time, taking the action towards it. I think getting stuck in procrastination is something that is very common. And I know our practice helps to give us the energy that we need in order to create. And creation comes from the sacral chakra. So when we're working with the sacral and we're doing meditations that really impact the sacral chakra, we're going to tune into that creation energy, and we're going to have the energy in order to bring things into creation. So if you feel like you're someone that does procrastinate, or that you need support to not procrastinate and bring things into creation, that's sacral chakra work. So what can we do around that space to activate this energy and be able to support ourselves as creators? So taking care of that area in whatever way that feels good for you. So lately I've been doing a lot of acupuncture to support that space. I've been eating a lot of warm foods to support that space as well internally. Wearing or eating orange colored fruits, vegetables, foods supports the sacral, as well as wearing orange, or just tuning into that orange frequency in some way, visualizing an orange light as you meditate, visualizing that space. Also, Sudarshan Kriya. I feel like Sudarshan Kriya is actually under the solar plexus meditation, but it definitely really focuses a lot on the lower triangle, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. So if you're looking for a meditation to help support you and that area, I highly recommend the Sudarshan Kriya. I also listen to the sacral sound healing from Beautiful Chorus a lot. That's really supportive of that chakra. And then as well, there are these Vam chants. So there's a sound that is associated with each chakra. And sometimes I'll play that sound. It's Vam for the sacral chakra, I'll listen to that. That activates the area and helps to awaken that creation energy within us. And honestly, guys, we have one life to live. And using that as our motivation and thinking about these ideas as precious gems and jewels that come from another dimension that land into our consciousness, that are absolute blessings and gifts, it's only right that we take action and move towards them. The other thing is we can get a backup. So if you're getting a lot of ideas and ideas that the universe and the collective energy wants you to act on, and you don't act on them, you're eventually going to block yourself from being open. You're not really creating that flow of ideas going out and coming in. You're kind of like hoarding this energy, and that's going to stop ideas from coming through. And all of a sudden you're going to be like, wait, but why aren't I connected to these divine downloads? Why aren't I receiving any new ideas? Well, have you moved the amazing ideas that you've received, that you felt were meant for you to move? And by doing that, that's when you're creating space for more to come in. There's also this book called Big Magic. It's by Elizabeth Gilbert, and she writes about ideas coming through. She writes all about the creative process. It's an amazing book. If this podcast is speaking to you, I highly recommend you read that book. But what she talks about here is that we have the collective consciousness, which is kind of like the iCloud that everyone's connected to. And these ideas come in. They drop into certain individuals. And if one person doesn't act on them, someone else will. So when you get this idea, you also need to know that, not in a lack way, but in a motivation way. Do you want to be the one to bring this in? And not only that from an ego standpoint, but do you feel like you're the one meant to bring this in? Do you feel like you're the one that's meant to deliver this to others? And if so, act on it, because if not you, it will come into the world through another vessel. And that's just this law of the universe. And we see it every day. I actually had this idea to create, I'm still in the process of it, but I started this idea way back in the spring to create more house music with mantra infused in it. And for those of you who have been with me for a while and been here for a while, you probably have heard the music that we created, a DJ. This was an idea I had way back in 2020. And then I did an event with a DJ. He just DJ'd a meditation event, did not know my idea, grabbed a clip of me while I was teaching meditation and put it in a house track. It was wild how that came into fruition. And more recently, the idea revisited me. And while it revisited me, I randomly had people on Instagram, because we are so connected in this community, message me and send me music that's been created. You guys might know Lincoln. He's blowing up right now. He's doing this, and it's amazing music. And they messaged me before he blew up, look at this music that he's creating, while I was in the process of creating some music myself, which was so wild. And then I actually reached out to him sharing that I was in the process of doing this. I would love to connect. And now he like completely blew up sharing this house music. It's incredible. Definitely check it out. I'm still interested in doing that just because I feel like that's what the world can use right now. And we can clearly see that through his example. But that's also an example of the collective consciousness. We get these ideas, people bring it through, whoever's meant to ride that wave and bring it into the collective. He's doing a beautiful job at it. I listen to his music all the time. It's just such a cool example of that. So for procrastination, if you get an idea, immediately act on it. See if that helps you combat any procrastination. And that means acting on it in a really small way or a big way immediately, just taking some actions towards that. The next thing is maybe not announcing it until you take some action towards it, so you don't get that dopamine hit, and you wait, you savor that for when you actually bring it into fruition. Work on your sacral chakra by eating foods that support your sacral, doing practices that support your sacral, chanting or listening to sounds that support your sacral. And always remember that these ideas come in, they flow to us, but they are not only ours. They're going to pop around. So if you feel like you're the one meant to bring it into life, go ahead and do that. Thank you guys so much for being here for the solo episode. I hope it provided you so much value. If you feel like anyone else can benefit from this, please share the episode. And as always, we love to get ratings or reviews of the podcast. But I sincerely thank you for being here, for supporting it. And I can't wait to see you next time. May the longtime sun shine upon you. Sat Nam.